All right. I just have a few more minutes. I think this will be the last slide I'll get to because my voice is giving out. But I want to just go briefly over the most common structures and strategies. And by the way, I think they're going to make this whole PowerPoint available. And if you want, come up and give me your business card, or you can even write it on the little slip, in addition to the reports if you'd like the PowerPoint. I'm happy to send it to anybody. First we have trusts, and a lot of people have revocable trusts, particularly revocable living trusts. It's good, it can help with probate and certain things, but a revocable trust is not an asset protection vehicle. So you get zero asset protection from your domestic revocable trust. Why is that? Because, as the name says, it's revocable. And if there's a legal problem or issue, plaintiff goes to the judge says, okay, Mr. Nagel, please revoke your Pennsylvania revocable trust, and we need to make these assets available to the plaintiff. Whereas an irrevocable trust is true asset protection. Some people become afraid of that word irrevocable, but again, there's ways to make sure, a lot of my clients, they want the structure first and foremost to benefit them. They want it to be their retirement money, their life savings. They want themselves to be the beneficiaries of the trust, which you can legally do in many jurisdictions. Okay, so you put the asset in a trust, you get better asset protection. It is irrevocable. Somebody comes after the assets, they can't get them. They're available for you as a beneficiary, and then at your death, seamlessly move to your children, grandchildren. That's a very common structure. Foundations are generally found in civil law countries like Panama, Liechtenstein, and others that don't have common law trusts, but they're really designed to do largely the same thing. They are separate legal entities. The ownership is transferred into those entities, and you're able to put your hand on the Bible, swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. And when they ask you about those assets, you can exclude them. Why? Because they aren't yours. You've legally transferred those assets to the trust, and the trust is a separate legal juridical person from you. Corporations, we all know how corporations work, but I just want to mention one thing. People will come to me and say, well, I was thinking about doing a trust, but what about if I just set up an LLC in Nevis? Does that get me the same thing? No, it doesn't. A corporation, think of a corporation as a shield, okay? It's shielding you from the activity of that company. So you're holding this shield out in front of you, and if somebody's shooting arrows at you, you hope that the shield's going to stop the arrows, right? But what if somebody's coming at you? Not at your company. They're coming at you for whatever reason. Is that company going to protect you? No, it's not. In fact, that company is just one more asset that you're going to have to disclose. And there have been many cases where offshore entities, including offshore companies, where the judge has said, okay, you have your assets in a foreign company in Nevis. Please turn over the corporate documents to the courts, and we're going to reassign them to the plaintiff. So, did the company help you? No, it didn't. All right, very quickly. Insurance I mentioned. I don't have to talk about that anymore. Non-reportable foreign assets. That used to be the thing that everybody wanted to talk about and hear about. The list is getting smaller and smaller, quite frankly. And Leif mentioned it earlier. You've got foreign real estate, which all the realtors in the room always love it when I say, because if you own foreign real estate abroad, the existence of that ownership, I'm not talking about income that you make. Income that you make has to be reported. But if I own a beach lot in Sri Lanka and it doesn't produce any income for me, there are no disclosure requirements presently for that ownership of foreign real estate. The other one is in the precious metals complex, silver, gold, platinum, palladium. If you have it in bullion, hard form, in a safety deposit box or something like that, it's also not reportable. Real estate, I understand, because it's not really a financial asset. Gold is a little harder. Only thing I can think of is some IRS agent has all his money in gold in Switzerland. He doesn't want to report it. So that's why we have that little rule. It might change at some point, but I don't expect any changes in the near future. And then foreign residency. It used to be that, it was just one wacky guy in the back of the room that wanted to talk about that. You've heard about the foreign earned income exclusion, some of the benefits you can get. And I would say more and more commonly at conferences like this, everybody wants to talk about residency, second citizenship. I'd be glad to talk about that with any of you one-on-one. I have Wednesday morning early for all the A students. I have a Q&A in here. We can spend some time talking about foreign residency and the benefits of that. And lastly, I just want to mention the concept of debt. And I mentioned debt. It's not a structure, but it is a strategy. It's an important strategy because if I have a valuable asset like a multi-million-dollar home in Delaware, I can't pick that home up and move it, can I? But I can leverage out the equity and move the cash offshore. And does anybody think they're going to get in front of the bank if they have a lawsuit against me? No, they're not. So debt can be used very effectively. I'm not talking about consumer debt, credit card debt, anything like that. But as part of an asset protection structure and strategy, it's quite wonderful.